Hi, and welcome to 10 Minutes with Tara. Today I want to discuss vision. What does that mean? Well, there is no vision, the people perish. What does that mean? As in, the people are physically blind? Yeah, some people are. There's some people that just can't see because of an ailment in their eyes. But the eyes are indeed the window to the soul. And if you have clouded vision, can you actually see? Can you see clearly? I have had a terrible vision in the past about how I saw things and becoming the God of my own life. I don't know if any of you have ever done that, but I had come to a point where I wasn't trusting God anymore to take care of my family, to protect my family. So I got up on the throne of my heart. I'm like, you know what? Apparently, I'm speaking to God in a very Job-like voice. Apparently you're busy. And maybe I don't deserve your protection. So I'm just going to take over. I thought at that point in time that my relationship with God was like a quid pro quo. For example, I go to church on Sundays and I tithe my 7.8%. And I read the Bible and I thought I deserve all the best. I'm your kid. I would make sure that I never got hurt, never suffered any pain. I don't know where I got this idea. It is bad vision. It's actually idol worship. And not only was I worshiping myself as an idol, but I sat on the throne and pulled my kids up too and worshiping them. And there's a whole identity crisis that happens in that regard. And the thing is, I'm going to try to succeed at being a God. Because I'm thinking he's busy. There's more important things happening in the world. I'm going to implement all the boundaries and all the different ways to protect my daughters, because they'd already suffered so much pain. I'm going to do everything I can to stop that pain. And that went over like a lead balloon, literally. So we walk by faith, not by sight. If we only believe in the things that we see with our physical eyes, then we're not, it's just a spiral to just chaos, and it's catastrophic, and it's life destroying and family destroying. So there is a prayer like, Lord, I don't want to see things the way I see them anymore, because in my limited, futile human mind, it's garbage. Everything. I mean, I'm falling down a rabbit hole, and what I perceive to be a rabbit hole, my vision, and I'm grasping onto roots or anything I can to stop the fall. And if I have the mind of God, and if I'm able to see myself in a situation through his eyes, there's no rabbit hole. There might be holes that's maybe that deep. He may have said, hey, by the way, watch out for the potholes. I fall into it. I feel terrible because, Lord, you said not to look out for the potholes, and I'm in a pothole right now. And he's like, yeah, that's okay. Stand up. Let's go play. Let's go have fun. Let's walk. And I'm so limited, and I'm punishing myself. So I dig that pothole into a pit. And then it's a massive black hole because I'm punishing myself. Have you ever done that? So I punish myself. I make the situation worse. I don't want to walk free. I want to carry all my problems into the next day, condemning myself, judging myself, criticizing myself. I don't have his eyes to see the situation. You see, when he looks at you and me, he looks through the lens of the blood of his son. He's looking at his son when he looks at you and me, for those who've given our life over to Christ. And is there nothing that he would withhold from his son? The problem is we don't have eyes to see. 2 Kings 6:17, O Lord, please open his eyes that he may see. So the Lord opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw, and behold, the mountains were full of horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha. Now, Elisha had an assistant, right? Terrible things were happening all around him. And Elisha's like, yeah, so good. Because Elisha could see, great, there's more with him than there was with the enemy, right? But the assistant is like terrified, going, we need to take control of the situation. We need to run. We need to hide. Because the assistant didn't have a relationship with the Lord. The assistant there was freaking out, and with our own eyes, where there's no vision, the people perish, right? He could not see the help that the Lord had given him. And Elisha prayed and opened the eyes of the assistant, and the assistant's like, whoa, I never have to be afraid again. I don't know if any of you are worried about what's going on in the world right now. And I mean, what does worrying do? It's not like we're going to change anything, but we know how to pray, and that does change things. But when we have God's point of view over that and we've spent time, now what is that? And I'm going to press this over and over again. When you wake up in the morning and you spend time alone in the closet with your Father, and you get filled up with him, with those treasures, with hope, perspective, his perspective, wisdom, you're going to be able to apply that throughout your day. And I'm telling you, when you have eyes to see, if you have God's eyes, right? And you're seeing other people with his eyes, you're seeing every situation with his eyes, everything changes. In fact, people will be very attracted to that. The more time you spend with him, the better off for yourself and everyone around you. Which is really interesting, you know, all the different things that have come, like all the disease and all the viruses and all these things. If you don't have eyes to see, you're going to be terrified and react out of fear and make decisions based out of fear. That didn't work out well, did it? But if you have his eyes to see, there's no worries, there's no concern. You have wisdom, more than enough wisdom to know what to do in the situation, because you're being directly connected to the Lord, and he's going to tell you what to do. Acts 26:18, to open their eyes so that they may turn from the darkness to light and from the power of Satan to God, and that they may receive forgiveness of sins and a place among those who are sanctified by faith in me. That's a big deal. To finally be healed of your blindness towards him, to stop just in our humanness and our futile thinking. Are you ready to trust him? And I get it. I get not trusting him, because you're thinking, well, all these terrible things happened and I believed in him and all these things happened. You got it. How's that working out for you with that mentality? How's it working out for you? Once you're willing to humble yourself and surrender what you think you would have done as a God, because that was me. I thought if I was a God, I would never let anything bad happen. But unfortunately, we have free will, or fortunately, I don't know how you want to put that, but free will got us in this mess that we're in right now. You now have the free will to surrender your blind eyes and ask him, all right, I want to see the situation the way you see it. I want to see my finances the way you see it. I want to see my husband, God, for guys listening, my wife. I want to see my kids the way you see them. And I want to be able to react and or respond the way that you would respond to them. I want to help them see themselves the way you see them, not the way I see them with my opinions or my expectations. And there's a bitter root expectations that what most of us have over everything in our lives, because it's based on what? Based on books we read, or based on what we saw on TV, based on other, what we see in other people's families. So I praise God that as you're listening to this, that you're willing to surrender your eyes. Open my eyes that I may behold the wondrous things out of your law. Open my eyes. Will you pray with me? Will you pray with me and say, Uncle, I give up. I'm tired of seeing things the way I see them, because the way I see them is doing nobody any good. But I want to see things the way you see them, and I want to speak out your word over the situation and watch with new eyes the mountains that are in front of me fall and crumble into the ocean. You've given us these mountains so that we can move them. All we need to do is trust him. So I praise God. Today's the day. And you say, give me eyes to see. And I'm going to praise God. He hears your prayers. And it's a whole new opportunity to know him and love him and glorify him. Remember, you really are kind of a big deal.